Froggy and I are going collecting. We're going for a ride. It's a road trip. Whether you want to call it collecting or picking, I'm trying to pick up throwaways, which can be used for scrap, metals, and whatnot, to get some monetary funds. I am reminded of early childhood, just my childhood in general. My dad did construction, he still does. I wanted to get a job, There was a kid that lived, we were all young, so I'm calling him a kid, He was Portuguese nonetheless. I remember one summer he got a job at a warehouse. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I want to get a job, make some money, but it's like, be productive. Eventually I started going with my dad on the weekends. Not often. I went a couple times. And when I started I wanted to look for jobs. I must have been 13, 14. There was these magazines, It was the Polish magazine. You would look for work. And everywhere I could, I was just like, I was underage. So I was like, who's going to hire me? What are the chances of me hiring? Eventually, I kind of made a couple dollars with my dad on the weekends just cleaning, He would go, he would work with this guy named Ziggy. They had their own little construction company. That's what he would do, So I must have been, way over the age of 10 or 11, about, I'd say 12 or 13. And on a Saturday I would go and I would just help him clean up or whatever, or take stuff out, this and that. I made a couple dollars. But, that's what I really wanted, I was never I never had the mentality of a hustler, we used to collect basketball cards, comic book cards, but I never saw it as a venture for money, for capital. I know if I sat on it, it would be worth some dollars. I already told this story. My first real card that I got is one of the first packets I opened. I didn't even want to buy basketball cards. This kid, Pete over there, he would collect basketball cards. I think he would collect baseball cards, but basketball as well. And I got Shaquille O'Neal's rookie card. I still have it. Unless it's, someone flipped it and gave it different, but I think it's the same one. And, I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking cool. But I was like, I was never a big Shaquille O'Neal fan, but, it was a rookie card, and he got excited. So I knew it'd be worth money, but, it was Shaquille O'Neal, he was, I did enjoy watching him play somehow, and it was just it was a thing, I never really wanted to sell it. Even right now, it's I would, but I kind of don't, because it holds a sentimental value of that story, how, he tried to rob me, and I fought for it, and I played with him, so I kept the card, Also, it's Shaquille O'Neal's rookie card. The guy made an impression on the NBA, on the world. He was in Dream Team. It's the first card in his first year, It's a staple in my childhood, how, I used to collect those cards. And it's also a lot of stuff to do with the NBA, because I used to watch it back then. So, all those cards that I have for NBA players, they're a memory of the games I watch, and I used to like those guys. Rarely do I have cards of guys. Maybe I knew them from teams that I saw he made a shot or this and that. I was like, I'll get his card, so I remember that. But it's there were just so many people, it's kind of hard to forget, and they weren't that big or great, but I still have them. Alonzo Mourning, I bought a couple of his cards. It wasn't for value. There were actually good shots of him, and it was a lot. Some of them were just either they were holograms, or there were special kinds of cards. So I would try to collect those because they were cool to look at. I was never so much, this card is going to be worth couple $100,000. I was never into that. Of course you get excited, but that's not how I would see it. Even right now, I'm going to pick up some metal. I think it might be an air conditioner. I don't know if they're still there, but it's not so much about the monetary value, which it is. Obviously, you got to make money, this too. But there's so many things that people just overlook in this world. Even something like this metal I collected earlier, those used to be lamps. Lamps that could probably be in the warehouse. And from my first inclination was, it's aluminum, it got wasted, it's going to be good money. But it just seems like it's very fine sheet metal. And it might not be good money to get back, but it's like, it's the whole process of like collecting and picking it. And there's wires in there, there's bolts, and there's not too many chains. There's little chains just to hang them up, but I could reuse the chain. Ooh, that's a Rolls Royce. Maybe 20 years later, people won't even want them. Actually, they will, because it's a Rolls Royce, right? There's so many cars out there that just, sit there, collect dust and dirt. When you saw them and fix them out, they'll be worth a lot of money because they're really good cars. And, it's like, I see things for what they are. I treat it as a spiritual thing. I really equate that to a form of spirituality and to be connected, with this earth and planet, because that metal, it came from iron ore. It came from the earth, so it's very significant. That's how you really break it down. And, as far as all those metals I collected, like the lamps, or the outer casing of the lamps, the lights, it could be broken down. Why? There's copper in there, this and the other thing. Washers, microwaves that have copper. Copper is just so freaking cool. It's so beneficial as well. People don't see that. They see it as garbage, and they only see it as money. And, you got to spend a lot of time. I'm still a novice at it, so it takes me a long time to dissect it, this and that. There's already somebody like, money, no, you don't have the money. Like, relax. It's like, you could break it down. It takes, time for that. But, it is consuming, but I enjoy working with my hands. Instead of sitting and just, watching a movie and playing video games all day, it just gets in your mind, And, just constantly watching movies, this and that, and just being stagnant in life, it's just not what I enjoy. Even if, like, you go to the gym, but you do reps and stuff, it gets boring. I never really liked the gym, so this is just beneficial. You gotta walk around, pick that stuff up. It's not that it's too much, it's not a lot of exercise, but you know what? I like, it's an adventure, to say the least. It's a journey, and it takes a lot of work to, put it together, hold it together, put it together, go and scrapping. But it is a really cool thing for me, and to break down every little piece for even monetary value and to understand it, it's just it's awesome in itself for me, But what I'm trying to say is that those comic book cards, even from my early days, I never really thought of them as a business. Even I could sell them or something like that. I just felt bad about selling them. I remember me and my childhood friends, we used to play basketball for them, and whoever won, we would trade cards. Like I put, like, it was like gambling for cards. And eventually I started thinking, I'm probably not gonna beat this guy, probably beat that guy, but I don't even want to gamble that much. I think one kid actually paid a couple dollars for them, but it had sentimental value. It wasn't just Alonzo Mourning, but like all these players. It's like, I used to watch their games. I want to have their cards. It's like, and weeks went by, months went by. I would look at them. I remember that game with this guy, this, that. They won the championship, and even if they don't have like the championship card or whatever, it's about just the memory of it, and that's what that was about, But as far as work, this is what I'm doing is probably like a side job, I don't have a main job right now, so I do this just to, get a couple dollars in my pocket, put some gas in my car, I don't know, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get rich, I know that, doing this, right? But, I would need like a bigger truck, a flatbed, to do what I really want to do. And then you still probably won't get a lot of money, but I have other ideas. This is just something I do, and it's like, I enjoy it. Right now I'm passing by a Best Buy, so this is a story about scrapping and reusing stuff. Years ago, this kid told me he goes to Best Buy over here. I think it was around here because he used to live in Linden, and you wouldn't believe they throw these computers, and yet maybe they have a virus, maybe they'll malfunction, but they have a hard drive in there. They have boards of RAM. Right now there's like, I saw this one computer, even in the city, they had this it was a trailer for, like, throwing stuff out, like an open trailer, and I found, it was a computer, it was a desktop, but on it, it's a 1 terabyte hard drive memory on a hard drive. I was like, holy shit. And I'm pretty sure that's, it could be fixed. And there's other components in there. I was like, 1 terabyte, bro. Like, I remember in the early 2000s they were talking about the terabytes, but it's just right there. And it's like you could break it down, and you could have so many parts out there. They could reuse it in your computer, still paying like $60, $80, $100, $200, $300 for parts, even in the cheapest places. So it's a reusable thing. And it's like the fact that people just throw it away, even like stores. That guy used to go, he built his own computer just by taking stuff and putting it together. And it's like you could do that stuff. Just like you got to know the know-how. This was around pre-YouTube era, somewhere around when YouTube was coming out. But even, there's books about that, this and that. Although, you could watch YouTube videos that just have common sense, and not just common sense, but YouTube videos about that and put your own computer together. Instead of just paying a lot of money, going to the store and just getting a computer that, like, well, I like this, but I don't like that. You can make the one that you actually want, With these metals, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to reuse them, but I'm going to take every screw and every bolt out. I'm going to take all the chains off the wires, and I am going to go scrap it with it, I just think that, a lot of people see everything, not a lot, but the ones I found, for monetary value. Like, it all comes down to money to a certain degree. And it just dilutes the whole experience, If I told somebody, people would equate how much time you spend, gas you waste, versus just driving, picking and stuff up, looking for it. Also, taking it apart, how much money they probably wouldn't do it. I get it. But, I'm not going to be like everybody else that, falls in line and gets a regular job and then, gets either arguments or gets this and that and just, has to wake up at a certain time. Even if I would go in a job and I would be on perfect times, like always someone tries to mess with you like you weren't, like they're jealous, envious, and they hate you. It's like, I don't want to have that experience. This, I'm on my own. I'm making a couple dollars, but you know what? I'm surviving the best way that I can right now, And, there's people that just, I know they're full of crap, at least I believe, It's like, well, why don't you just get a job? Get a job. It's like, I'm not the one that sits at home and collects a paycheck from, like, the government. I don't want that. I had EBT food stamps for, like, a couple months, and I didn't like that either. I didn't want it to begin it. I felt it's like a form of suppressing my financial status with that economic, economic burden, I believe, the EBT food stamps. And, then it's like, they don't give you enough, so it's like you're stressed. I got money for like two and a half, the most I lasted was 2.5 weeks on them. And it's like, I don't even want that. I'd rather make my own money, just, buy little amounts of food and just survive. I don't need expensive items. That's not what I'm looking for. Even the car I have right now, it's probably not the best car, but I'm thinking about buying something really, really old and just restoring it. I was thinking about trading it for like a pickup, a truck I want, but the closest I went to on one side is like, in Washington. And it's like, it's like 15 grand, but it just like, if I don't drive it, I don't look through it, then, I'm not going to buy it, Also, if you go to a dealer, you trade it in, I'll see there's something I would want. It's a Chevy. I would want a Chevy, like a Chevy a truck. That would be freaking nice, Chevy, Ford. I always like Dodge Rams. I don't even care. It's got to be like 250 or 350. The extra large, a 6-foot cab at the minimum. They, I think they make 6'1", I believe, or like over 6 feet. It can't be under 6 feet. The bed. I don't want that. 8-cylinder. I don't want 8-cylinder. Let me see. Yeah, 8-cylinder. I didn't read on the websites how much horsepower they have, but that's important as well. So I want something powerful, and a diesel would be nice as well, of course. You gotta get diesel for that. And so right now this is gasoline powered, right? But it's as far as transporting this and that, I would like to have just a like a pickup truck just for that. And my plan was, I already seen it. It was it was a Volkswagen. It was just sitting there collecting dust and dirt, like literally dirt, like it was just dirty and grimy. I'd buy that, just get it to run, and eventually, that would be like my main car, But as far as that, I'm not gonna put too much effort into it. It's an older car, so it would need a lot of parts, this and that. I don't have the funds, so a pickup truck would seem most likely to me. Which honestly, I wanted to get one since like 2015. It's just that I settled for the SUV, which I do love, but seats are down, so I could feel like up to like 6 feet of length, not 3 feet high, because I measured today. I was gonna pick up a couch and just restore it and just sell it for somebody for like gas money, but I didn't even do that because it wasn't gonna fit in my SUV. It wasn't gonna fit in the Grand, so I let that one go. But yeah, that's just a random story about how people equate stuff and when people do stuff, with the things present in their lives. Yeah, I still have a box. It's a shoebox of all those basketball cards. I have a lot of them, and I just I looked up some prices, and it's like I think people on purpose, they devalue the cards. If you could get a Shaquille O'Neal rookie card for like $2-3, and it's just so ridiculous. And it's like either it's fake, you won't get it, or it's like they're purposely trying to devalue it to bring the value down. Like that's a Shaquille O'Neal rookie card. It should be at least a couple hundred, if not grand, right? And by the way, yeah, if I had good money, I think I would buy people's rookie basketball cards, especially from the 90s. The time that I used to watch basketball, even like the early 2000s. I think I would get Jermaine O'Neal. He was just a tough guy in the Pacers. A couple other people, a couple of people that I used to just watch the highlights of and stuff like that. I even got football cards. I was a Cowboys fan. I got Emmitt Smith's cards. I got an Emmitt Smith coin. I don't have too many football cards because I never really bought the packs. I used to just buy singles. And I remember it was like $1.25, like a specialty card. And I'm not saying it's worth a lot of money, but I was like, oh, that's, that card looks really nice. I really like it, so yeah, let me get that. I rarely bought it like, well, this is for your ultra, this and that, so that goes up in value. I never really equated to that, even though I used to read about it. I remember those booklets. You could buy a booklet and it just tells you the value, that particular year, percentages and all that, something like that. But, I had it, but just I'm not going to research this stuff and just get to the pennies side of it, I was never really into that. And by the way, there's just so many signs that I thought about and just, dismantle them and leave it. Obviously, I'm not going to take a stop sign or like a U-turn sign, but they're just laying on the ground. They've been there for weeks. I already talked about that. I'm not going to take it for myself. I'm pretty sure that's very much against the law, but yeah, there's just so many things you notice. And when I went picking, right? I went picking for this ad that I saw. There was by the garbage can. There's so many hex nut or Allen keys, like more than a dozen. And you can always find washers, screws out there on the floor, and it's just like, wow, man. And you pick this stuff up and you collect it. I'm not gonna sell it. It's just a reusable. There's so many times you need a washer and stuff. It's like, why pay for this stuff? Why produce new ones even when it's all right there? And you can even you can take a brush with metal bristles and you can clean it up if you want. You could even paint it if you really wanted to. Spray paint that thing, I'm not going to pay extra for like a black washer and bolts when I can take care of it myself. Here I am on Plainfield Avenue. Not to give the address away, but just some random stuff. Always looking around right now. Oh, That's a nice. That looks like an Oldsmobile, 70s or 80s, you know? And it's just sitting there, you know, rusted out, but, you know, maybe someday, you know, someone will buy it for, like, a good amount that when the people are happy, you know, clean it up and just restore it. Why not? You know? About cars, just, you know, it's just a lot more work, obviously, you know? So, you need a garage, this and the other thing. Even like bicycles, you know, you need space. Like, you know, I'm starting to do. I still have to work on my bicycle, but it runs. I fixed it, so it just makes some noise. I got to check that out and touch it up, take care of it a little bit better. But it's another thing. Why buy new parts when, you know, I could fix something up?